day is a time for Americans to be filled with pride and heroism of the ultimate sacrifice countless men and women have made in the service to our nation to ensure freedom. As we gather today in peace to honor veterans of past generations, we rise above politics and disagreement and recognize the actions of our current service members and future veterans. America's troops remain in Iraq and Afghanistan to bring freedom, peace, and democracy to broken lands. Few causes are as worthy or as great as theirs.
How long did you serve for?
I was in the Marines from 1982 to 1987.
Okay, and did you have any physical injuries?
I think I might have hurt my back, but I never reported it because you know what? When it's time to get out, whatever you report, then they extend your contract to I'm not sure what the medical discharge is called, but when it was time for me to get out, I didn't want to be extended for a week or a day. I just wanted to get out. And so yeah, my back's been hurting for 20 some years, and other than that, I don't know. I was a refueler, so all we did was refuel helicopters and aircraft and fuel, machinery that operates on fuel. There was times we spilled a couple gallons of JP1, JP2, the fuels that they use in helicopters and airplanes. Or our boots were soaked, and you couldn't take a shower to the end of the day. I'm sure maybe that might affect me, or at some point.
Yeah, and so mentally, how are you?
The only sad parts I feel is you lose all your friends that you were family with for about 3 years, 4 years. Mm-hmm. Out here in the civilian world, there's no sense of camaraderie. It seems like everybody's just dog eat dog. No sense of loyalty.
So despite those horrible feelings and losing people and all the atrocities that war creates, you still support troops going over there and continuing military efforts?
Well, okay, as we know, war is for rich people, and rich people get poor people to go fight the wars. And this war is nothing, this whole thing about liberating people, it's not liberating people, it's called liberating oil. And if I would have known how corrupt this government was when I was 18 years old, when I joined the Marines, I wouldn't have joined. And in the time of my uncle serving in World War II, Mexican Americans, American Indians, and African Americans could not, for example, testify in court against a white person, couldn't sit in jury, couldn't eat or drink at the same restaurant or water faucet, couldn't attend the same movie theaters. When my father's mother died, Mexican Americans were still segregated. Even the cemeteries were segregated. So even after we were dead, someone was still creating some kind of havoc in our lives. Jim Crow laws were still in effect till the 60s, until you had the civil rights of 64 and 67. So basically there's a lot of irony that people of color go and serve and fight and die for this country. American Indians have been ethnic cleansing, genocide against American Indians since Plymouth Rock or Jamestown, whichever you can pick or choose. President Andrew Jackson, was an Indian hater, Indian killer, and the war against Indians did not end until the 1890s. After that, that would have been genocide, and then ethnocide, where American Indian children were removed from their parents, and this form of ethnocide of making them ashamed of their language, their clothing, their food, their hair, their customs, their religion, their values, all disrupted by Europeans coming over here. And that doesn't include all the diseases brought over here by Europeans who come over and take all this land from Native Americans. And so yeah, I'm proud to be an indigenous person. I know that my ancestors were here before, Christopher Columbus and all these other folks that came over here in the last 500 years. And our people, we come from warrior societies, warrior clans, warrior tribes, warrior nations, and we're just proud to, I guess it's ironic, we're here serving a country, a government that stole all this land from Native people.
Many of the people here today spoke about the freedom that we now have due to all of these people, honor brave people that have gone and fought for us for our own freedom. Would you say that today, 5 years of being in Iraq and Afghanistan after 8 years, are we more free?
Here or in Iraq?
Here.
Well, here, something about, you'll hear every day about, Big Brother keeping an eye on you. Something about, what you do when you purchase something with your credit card. That's a little bit scary. Then we still don't know whether or not 911 was an inside job, because some of those buildings that fell down were not even hit. And all you have to do is just look at all the media, the coverage, videotape, different angles, and buildings falling down 4 or 5 hours later. Makes you kind of wonder. I think anything evil that can be thought of is here in the United States.
What would you say to those young people that were here today in the ROTC, or people that are graduating from high school and they don't know what to do, and the military recruiters come up to them? What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, there's a war here in the United States. Another thing, charity starts at home. We have a high incarceration rate. We have a high illiteracy rate. Arizona and California rank D in education. We have one of the worst educational systems of the top, I believe, 17 industrial countries in the world. The average American or newspaper is at a 5th grade reading level. We have drugs, we have crack, we have crystal meth. We have families being destroyed. And not just mom and dad, but also cousins, uncles, and grandparents. We have alcoholism, we have diabetes, we have suicide. When these kids come back from if they join the military and go to the war, they're going to come back to the same problems and issues that were being faced before they left. Myself, and when I came out of the Marines, I thought, and then I just graduated from the University of Arizona in the last couple of years, and I always thought, one should come back to their community and try to bring up the community, since culturally speaking, we're supposed to think about our community, not ourselves. Individualism it's not a non-Western thing. So I came back trying to see what I could do for my community, and it's just like running into a brick wall. People don't care. Apathy. The United States is considered the world's most politically apathetic country, according to some literature that's out there. Alan Bloom, The Closing of the American Mind. I'm here in Austin. I was born and raised in Tucson, and I'm here in Austin. But the issues that face the Mexican American community and the communities of people of color, it's the same everywhere. High incarceration rate, illiteracy, pregnancy, drugs, educational system that has really nothing that's culturally relevant, that doesn't speak of our own history, our contributions. During the time of my parents, it was about assimilation, but assimilating into what?
Yeah.
So I'm not here to be anybody that I don't want to be. And in the last 20 years, I've participated in American Indian ceremonies, trying to recapture our Native American roots. And I like to believe that our people were actually had some kind of honor and respect. Not like today's society, that's nothing but people that are inconsiderate and selfish society. So these poor kids, they're going to go to a war that George Bush started. Weapons of mass destruction were never found. And like Dave Chappelle said, how do we know that they have these weapons? Because we have the receipt.
Yeah.